we're going to begin here with the outbreak of a mystery virus in China that now has the World Health Organization on edge. At least 4 people have died and hundreds more are sick.
The mystery virus started here in the city of Wuhan. Chinese authorities pinpointing its source to this food market. Dozens have been infected, but experts here believe the actual figure is closer to 1,700 cases.
We begin tonight with the growing concern as the toll from that deadly coronavirus now grows, spreading from Wuhan, China, and tonight that first case here in the U.S.
Expanding outbreak of the deadly coronavirus. Look at the map. What started in China has now spread to Europe, Australia, and the United States.
Before the pandemic, experiences were getting to like their peak. And then we got it all taken away from us.
8 months ago, they were dispatching these ambulances to help out with the pandemic in New York. Now, it's on their own doorstep. In North Dakota, case numbers are rising faster than anywhere in the U.S.
Cases in the U.S. is now above 10 million, with more than 59,000 currently hospitalized. That's the highest total since late July. The state of North Dakota has been so hard hit, the governor has just announced doctors and nurses who are COVID positive but not exhibiting symptoms can continue working. In the hard hit state of North Dakota, the city of Minot now has more cases per person over the last 2 weeks than anywhere else in the country.
For those of you who do not believe, go and talk to them. Ask them what it's like. Ask them about the impact it has on their family.
And what you see in the hospital is exactly a pandemic situation where outside access has been completely shut off to visitors, as it should be. Within the community, there's still a segment of the population that still isn't taking it serious.
Well, concerns about COVID-19 continue to grow. Now the entertainment industry is being hit with concert cancellations in many parts of the world. Festivals like Coachella are even possibly being postponed to a later date.
The popular Life is Beautiful festival in Las Vegas has been canceled.
The Austin City Limits Music Festival is the latest event to be canceled.
The South by Southwest Music and Entertainment Festival has officially been canceled.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming for an emergency message. Breaking news. Sources tell us that Dak Jam 20, the arts and music festival here in Minot, is canceled. Due to the increasing number of corona cases and guidance from local officials, the producers and marketing team of Dak Jam 20 have decided that the event should be postponed until 2021.
COVID has affected the hospitality, entertainment, food and beverage industry, which is all the industries that we're in, immensely. So if you're not trying to keep up with the consumers and create an experience for them, they're not going to give you the time of day. I don't know if I fully believed what was happening. I remember talking about it in March of 2020 and not making fun of it, but making light of it. And like, what's this? And it's not going to affect us. And, you know, looking back, completely ignorant on my end. But when it actually occurred and it affected something that we had been, you know, heart and soul working our butts off to make happen, it was a very hard day. Very hard day.
I think experiences are more important now than they ever have been before. Before the pandemic, experiences were getting to like their peak. And then we got it all taken away from us, the worldwide. So now we have to build up the trust, the confidence, or the experience. Because the consumer knows they have small windows to have these experiences.
I was getting my master's degree and COVID happened, it was in the news, and 3 days later I was writing a paper on it. And I was writing a paper of misinterpretation of the news of COVID and how it's misconstrued, fake news, like when the height of fake news was happening. And by the end of that paper, which was an 8-week course, it was full blown and we were near shut down. And the week after I got done with that 8-week class, we were shut down for 2 weeks. That was COVID. I was seriously writing a paper how people were misconstruing it, but they were making up misinformation in the media, but there was so much of it, we didn't know it was coming until it hit. So how does the world adjust for a massive pandemic when we haven't had one in 100 years or so?
Well, we had to wear masks at school, so it was not that fun.
Were you looking forward to the Dak Jam in 2020?
Yes, I was.
What were you most excited to get to do?
Just for the concerts. Yeah.
I didn't think it was real. I didn't believe it. Since I am a teacher, when school started going online and we weren't going back, and then they said distance learning and things started shutting down around here. Yeah. Wild.
Dak Jam 2020. So obviously when we had actually kind of started to plan Dak Jam, or like how we were going to move forward, the COVID-19 pandemic had kind of already started to hit, at least, because the pandemic pretty much in North Dakota got up to North Dakota March like 14th-ish. Like it was right around spring break, and that was like probably a couple weeks before that. We had had the meeting of where are we going to go, what do we need to do for Dak Jam 2020. So we kind of immediately were holding off on some things, like we weren't doing too much, at least on like the marketing end. I know Mike was always running around trying to figure out what he was gonna do with everybody. But on the marketing standpoint, we pretty much were just like, okay, let's still find ways to keep people engaged with us on social media, still try to grow our presence. So a lot of it was trying to stretch ourselves in terms of what are we going to post, because we still didn't necessarily know if we were having Dak Jam 2020 as far as we knew we were, but we didn't know what to tell people about it quite yet.
The world before the pandemic was something I don't know if we'll ever see again. Obviously you could go to whatever you wanted you could hang out in as many groups of people as you wanted, you could be as close as you wanted, and there was really no restrictions on what you could and couldn't do. So going into 2022 now, there's so much more that you have to be aware of, whether that be getting sick or whether that be getting tested or all these different things. I think you're going to see the changing of the arts and of the music industry and everything as a whole shift a little bit differently. Not saying that we can't have concerts and those types of events, but I think it's just going to look a little bit different than it used to.
It's very interesting because everybody's mentality is changing so fast all the time as a whole. So it's interesting, this whole psychology behind everything that we're doing here for people to give them, we want to give them those feel-good emotions and build memories on those emotions, but we're also, everybody's different, and emotions are also detrimental to us in some things too, but that's still part of the experience there. So this whole experiment of building this experiential corporation of everything we do it's been quite a ride here the last 3 years. How everybody's changed. It seems like everybody's a little bit more tense, everybody's a little bit more edgy, everybody's a little bit maybe feels like they have no time to do anything when they have more time to do anything than they ever have.
When you're also dealing with shortages of employees and shortages of food and shortages of liquor and shortages of supplies. I mean, so you're constantly, I think we had a minute where we had trouble finding cheese, I mean, these are like key ingredients that I could not live without. So if you go to a restaurant and you're gonna get some tacos and you don't have cheese, well, it takes away that experience. Because food and beverage, I know we talk about it here, is all about emotion. And that's what we're trying to sell, is satisfying your emotions and creating an experience you're going to remember. So it's been trying to adapt to all of that. So we're trying to build a brand without a product. We're trying to continue a brand without being able to do what we used to do. So it's been a lot of adapting and pivoting. I mean, it should be probably our theme song for the year of 2020 and 2021. We adapted every single day. We essentially, and I kind of said it, but we built a brand backwards. We built a brand without having the actual product to sell to the public and to our consumer. So it was, what do we want the brand Dak Jam to represent? Okay, well, here's some things that we can do to try to make that happen. So we always get questioned, what are you? Are you a marketing firm? Are you a vintage store? Are you guys doing a talk show? There's a lot of different things that we get, and I love that we're diversified like that. And when we have this product in the future, it's going to be a lot easier because we have everything built up to present it, essentially. But, when you're trying to portray to your audience that you're okay with it, you got to deal with the emotions, and then you got to turn it around and make it fun. Unfortunately, this is not happening this year, and this is why. But we're still trying to build this brand through it all, through all this adversity. And I think we've done a pretty decent job doing that.
I joined the team right before Dak Jam 2020 was canceled. So I remember watching the video of Emily sitting there with her headset on saying, breaking news, this is it, Dak Jam's canceled. And that was really sad. I was looking forward to actually getting to experience Dak Jam in real life and not through a phone screen and other people's social media. But it was also exciting because I came into it and we went out there with a blank canvas and were able to build this brand without an actual product, which is something that I've never done. A lot of people haven't done. We're literally trying to get the name out about Dak Jam without having an actual Dak Jam that year. So for 2020, I think the biggest plan that we had was, how are we going to get the word out about Dak Jam without this event, and what are we going to do to stand out and be something different here in the Minot community?